Hello, hello, hello. I'm just looking extra purple. All right, let me just make sure I can be heard, I can be seen. All right, just making sure I can be heard. I'm live. All right, cool. All right, so y'all know there's nothing new to this for those who've been watching. Just letting everything set up, and we're gonna have a continued conversation, which is so needed for entrepreneurs, and people don't think so. Well, I don't think that people don't think so. I just think that they avoid it. So, um, while Facebook is doing what it's doing and allowing people to, tune in, I just wanted to kind of backtrack and everything on what we've been talking about, why is this a particular topic and the importance. So, if you notice for the topic is being a spirit-full entrepreneur. So, I talked about being a spirit-full entrepreneur yesterday, and I had gave I think it was like 7 keys to being a spiritful entrepreneur. So before we go ahead and dive in and start, my name is Lauren L.C. Thriving Entrepreneur, and I am excited to being here. Today is Tuesday, 7-Eleven. Oh, 7-Eleven. And that just sounds like such a lucky number to me. And do y'all know at 7-Eleven, even though I don't really come in this as far as being a health enthusiast, but 7-Eleven, I think they have like free Slurpees or something. So if you want to let your hair down, have some fun there you go. But yes, I'm the Thriving Entrepreneur. I'm here on Thrive Abundantly TV, which is the channel and a space for thriving entrepreneurs, really to get you get you thinking about your business, get you in a place where someone can shape and mold you, and throw you into the game and get you into your business. If you don't do it for yourself, I'm going to be here to help you to do it. But at the same time, you cannot make the strides if you don't choose to do so yourself. So who's this show not for is the overly sensitive, the weak-minded and the closed-minded. You really got to get yourself out. Yes, Keith, hi. That for those who are tuning in, state your city and state where you're tuning in from. But yes, this show is to make you go, I really want, that is the response. I really get a lot of people who watch this show and you're like, oh, you really made me think. I feel like that is like my purpose. That's what I'm here for. To really just put entrepreneurs in the space to really start thinking. Because a lot of the reasons that we don't move is because, for one, we don't look within ourselves, which is what we're going to talk about today. And we don't take the time to think, to a game plan. We just move so fast and want to make money. And I used to be that type of entrepreneur. I had an amazing, amazing strategy call today. With a young lady that has her business brand is the bomb. So I'm so excited that she came to me, for some coaching and helping with her business. So stay tuned, because you will see the hot, new, amazing entrepreneurs who are really taking their business to the next level, starting from here at Thrive Abundantly with my coaching program. So if you need help, you're at a startup of your business, or you're not quite sure, and you want to start moving over to the place of getting your business to the next level, definitely send me a message, or you can email me. The easiest email is thrivewithlc@gmail. I can give you my other email, but sometimes people mix it up. So thrive with L as in Lauren, C as in cat, @gmail. So depending where you're watching this, because sometimes this is shared other areas outside of Facebook. So that's my little spiel. I'm super excited. Like I said, I love what I do. I love coming on the show and pouring into you guys. Like I said, if you're just tuning in, state your city and state. We got Columbus, Ohio in the house. Philadelphia, hey! Oh my gosh, Sharon, I haven't seen you. I'm so excited to see you on the show. We'll talk after. Send me a message. I'm surprised to see you pop up. But so what I was saying was, sorry, I just got super excited. And I love what I do. I love pouring into you guys. I always share. You get amazing, amazing free content right here on this show. You know what I'm saying? So there's no excuse to really the reasons why you can't make it as an entrepreneur. There's so much material out there. There's so much, feedback. When I started, there was a lot of things I couldn't do because I didn't have the money, and I totally get that. But I'm pouring into you. Like if you go on my YouTube, you'll get all the videos down on a list to really help you get you in a place, like I said, to get you go, and really help and shape and mold you and get you to think. I talk about, breaking barriers as an entrepreneur, having your own struggles. I talk about money and entrepreneurship, what type of leverage kind of incomes you should be looking into, the difference between linear and residual income. I pour it all into the show. But all those fundamentals are great. But if we don't work on self, know thyself, to be able to prosper, we won't get there. So that's what this week is about being a spirit-full entrepreneur. And what is a spiritful entrepreneur? I talked about that yesterday. I'll just kind of quickly go over the tips. If not, you can tune into the show yesterday. But I gave 7 characteristics of what a spiritful entrepreneur is. 1 is a spiritful entrepreneur is a spiritual being. 2, they're grounded. 3, they're humble. 4, they have they're a clear and conscious thinker. 5, they're amazing problem solvers. 6, they're organized. And 7, they are great delegators. If you want a little bit more details on what those things are, you never heard what grounded is or anything like that, tune into the show yesterday. But I really, really wanted to, continue on this conversation. It's going to carry over for the week. We have an amazing special guest tomorrow that we have as a spiritual coach who is coming on to our show tomorrow. So tune in for that. I will be posting, where you can RSVP on my page. And I'm so excited. I can't wait for her to get on. Like I know her personally for some years, but she's like really good with certain mechanics when it takes to like tapping into your spiritual being and how to grow and overcome. She has a lot of modality specialties from, spiritual growing and healing as well as entrepreneurship. So of course, if I'm talking about being a spirit-full entrepreneur, of course she's going to be here on my show. She is one of the best-selling authors. So I'll give you guys the spiel all about her, and you can tune in tomorrow to come in. So to kind of gear in a little bit more of the importance, to really, fill your spiritual cup. That's how I came up with the concept of being a spirit-full entrepreneur. You have to take the time to spill into your spiritual cup. So for those who are watching, what are your ways on how you, fill your spiritual cup? What are ways, and it could be a religious aspect, but not all. Please understand that being spiritual and religious are 2 different things. Because you can have someone who's like super religious, but don't take a lot of time to spill their spirit spiritually. They can be what quote unquote some people say, like, they just follow the guidelines and the rules and read the book, but they don't practice these things themselves. So being spiritful is practicing whatever belief you may have, whether it's religious or not. There's a lot of individuals out there who aren't really into any kind of religious entities or anything like that, but they are very spiritual. You have people who study like the shamanic. You have, all kinds. I'm not even going to go into that because it's a whole nother conversation. But what are ways that you go about filling your spiritual cup? And I know it takes time for me to see the comments, but how I do, as I shared, I focus on my reading. I have like a book that I read that's called Got Moments with Women, and it gives like a scripture, and it also talks kind of like a daily devotional book. I even have a friend, and maybe I'll share her and see if I can get her onto the show. We'll see. But she has a daily devotional book that I love. And I share it, and maybe I can see about having her on the show possibly Friday. So I read daily devotionals. I read, particular books that help. A lot of these books like Think and Grow Rich, you have the Secret Success of Millionaire Minds. A lot of these books come from, the good book per se. They get a lot of, things and beings, and they kind of tweak it around the area that would help you to get a better understanding on these things and how to apply it with your life. So they may have, a lot of more simplistic explanations of how to apply that in the realm of entrepreneurship to your life. One of the books that I also read, I keep sharing this, is the Master Key System. It's like a workbook. I love it because it really works on, subconscious mind. That is something huge for me. That is how I become more spiritful. That's how I really grow on the particular areas. I just realized I did not take this thing down. Sorry about that, guys. Hey, now you get to see me. So that's how I, fill my spiritful cup, is really, really tapping into, self-healing practices, whether it's, breathing techniques, whether it's, people practice yoga. That's something I wanted to start getting into. I was recently in a car accident not too long ago and had some concussion symptoms. So working out is not my gateway anymore, where I can release some energy and stress. You always want to have an area where you can, release some energy and stress with yourself. And I don't have that source of like working out how I used to. So yoga was something I was looking at to see if I can safely go back to. So my doctor told me some of the stuff I can't do, whatever, for my shoulder. But I could do like tree poses and things like that, and breathing mechanisms. So because I run three businesses per se, but one runs into the other. But because I do, everything I do is of a service to others, meaning I'm always giving and pouring into others, I have to fill my cup, right? So I always practice these things first thing early in the morning. So, that's one of the particular things that I really focus on, is making sure I humble and ground myself, come from a space of a clear and conscious mind. As I said, with a spiritful entrepreneur, right? That's one of the qualities. You always want to be at a place to, have a clear and conscious mind. So when I say, what do you do to fill your cup? When I say, what do you do to, ground yourself? Basically, I'm saying, what do you do to clear your mind from all the havoc and things going on in your life? What do you particularly do to ground yourself so you could have a more clear and conscious thinking? So a lot of people reading, music, and things like that. But just make sure you take some time to really focus on your breath. The power of self is in your breath. For people who are, like yogis or something, that's something they always say. If you notice, when you do that, always talk about focusing on the breath, because the power of self and the spirit of God is within your breath. Okay? Hope I'm not getting like too deep or anything like that, but just giving you guys, just a gist, because this is super important for entrepreneurship. Why? It's very important for entrepreneurship, and like I will have, our spiritual coach who's coming on tomorrow to talk a little bit more about that. But it is important because you need to have a relationship with self, which is also saying having a relationship with your higher self, God, the universe, whatever it is that you particularly be in. You have to start being able to attract some source of energy within yourself in your life. Okay. That's if you even go to anything that speaks within, because like I said, the show is all about entrepreneurship. If you even go into anything that speaks amongst entrepreneurship, that they always talk about what? Mindset. How do you, get out of your own way? How do you dig within your things? The main things that they particularly talk about is subconscious, and then attracting. Okay, so when you dig within yourself, get into those roots, like I talked about before on one of my shows, is that you need to come in a space of disrupting your soil. So it's kind of like, if you got somewhere you want to go, you do want to grow and build as an entrepreneur, you want to get yourself to the next level, you want to, take the next leap. The things that you need to do is figure out what's been stopping you or getting in your way, if there is any, of a fear or whatever the case may be. Then you go in deep root, meaning tapping to yourself, your subconscious, your way of thinking. How could you do that? Journaling, asking yourself specific questions, getting a coach, because sometimes we can't do it for ourselves. I had to be one of those individuals that started off getting a coach, and I've grown and grown and grown and launched, and that's why I'm paying it forward through Thrive Abundantly coaching program. So what I say is, once you decide, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to be, a successful business owner, I want to do these things. You have planted the seed in your mind, right? So when you planted that seed, it's important to observe and speculate your garden to see if there's any old seeds that are deep rooted in there getting in the way of your new seed that you planted. Okay, I'll say that again. Once you tap into your mind of what it is you want to do and you make a decision, that is a new seed that's being planted. It ain't but so big. Remember they said, as far as the story of the mustard seed, that's the same way. You don't need this big old sprouted seed. You get what I'm saying? It's just you put it in your mind that it's something that you want to do. God instilled a vision within you, right? When you plant it, it's really important to observe and analyze and speculate your garden where you planted these things in, because guess what? If there's any old, deep-rooted, rotted seeds and weeds that's in your garden, it will destroy that seed from sprouting. What do I mean by that? All right, I'm gonna walk it through. I want to be an entrepreneur. I have this business that I really want to go. Oh, but my mom said I could never be anything. I'm just like my dad. Or, my mom failed at that business and she said I can never do it. Or, in school they said I can't read. I'm not a good writer, so I can never go forward and do it. I want to be a dancer, but this person says I don't have rhythm. What you guys get what I'm saying? So you start off by planting a new seed, but your old seeds just kind of wipe it out the way from past things in your life that has been getting in the way to stopping you. All right, I'm digging deep here. Okay, it's really important. What kind of things have been told to you that's stopping you or getting in your way? When I spoke with, a lot of my particular clients are people who I have had strategy calls with in their business. There's been things that they've probably been working on their business or things for years and never took on and moved forward. Why? Because they planted a seed, a new seed that might be great, that they're watering a little bit, but the old seeds, the old fertilizer is just ruining, and it's like sprouting, but it's wilting. It's sprouting and it's wilting. You get what I'm saying? That new seed that you did. So it's really important to disrupt your soil, dig within, get those old seeds out. You got to. And you got to get real with yourself to look at your garden. A lot of people are not willing to look at their garden. Why? Because sometimes it scares them to kind of disrupt that soil and dig up old seeds that hurt them, that they like subconsciously dig so deep and covered all this cement, plaque, whatever you want to put on top, so it won't come up again. But guess what? It's still there. It can still rot your garden. It can still rot your subconscious. It can still get in the way of why you are not excelling and moving your business forward. That's what that's about. So I hope that kind of gave you guys a conscious, a good understanding. It really made you go, I feel like this show is successful if I got you to the point to go, Okay, that is the whole purpose. I really want you to take the tools and materials that I share on these tools, because these are things that's been instilled and passed on to me that I'm just pouring out to the universe, to the cyber world out there for you to be able to, to use this. Okay, you don't have to actually be my exact client to work hand in hand personally one-on-one and even start getting some material and some value from me. Tune into my show weekdays. Okay, so I really wanted to do it. Just like I said, we are coming close to the top of the hour. I like to keep this show kind of brief and short. Now, when we have a special guest, the show runs on a little longer. As long as our guest is there, it runs at the top for an hour. Okay, so I can't wait for her to come on, tomorrow. She's going to really kind of dive into some areas. I'll share, the flyer and a little bit more about her. And it's also going to be sent out to those who are on my email list. If you're not on my email list, definitely go onto my business Facebook page at CEOLC Thrive, and you can see where you can sign up. If not, just send me a message and I'll give you the link. Or I keep forgetting I can type. So I'm going to put it in the links here. All right. So I also put the link in the comment where you can, tune into my email list so you can stay updated with these things. That way, you get ongoing information, education. I share the notes from my live, and things like that to keep up. I understand we're all busy. I understand I go live during, some people's lunch hours and things like that. So this is another way where you can kind of keep updated and able to read everything that's particularly going on. Okay. So we talked about the qualities of a spiritual entrepreneur. We talked about digging in to become more of a spiritual entrepreneur as far as disrupting your soil, planting the new seeds, and digging them up. All right, so tomorrow we will be going on and sharing what our guests want to share with us, and I believe she's going to have some amazing techniques that can help us move forward what we want to do in our life. So I ask those who tune into the show to have an open mind. If you do not have an open mind, I really, really highly recommend you do not tune into our channel because we don't need that space or any negativity or negative energy coming to the space. If you're confused and don't understand, fine, I get that, but just be sure to have an open mind, okay? So I love you all. I'm Lauren Elsie Thriver. I'm here to help you thrive and continue to move forward on your entrepreneurship journey. I love you guys. Keep moving forward and have an amazing, amazing Tuesday. And I will see you tomorrow with our guest at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time.